Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video lesson we're going to talk about how to play our A minor chord and how to play our Asus2 as well by just taking our first finger off the fretboard. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, now one of the most common chords that you're going to run to with playing acoustic guitar, playing guitar in general, is your A minor chord. This is a very popular chord, especially playing acoustic guitar. Very, very popular, so you want to make sure you get this one down, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to learn that one, and if you take your first finger off the second string of the first fret, you can play your Asus2 chord, okay? Now the way you play your A minor chord is you put, this is usually how I form it. There's a couple different ways you can form chords, so you want to kind of look at that, alright? Everybody's a little bit different, and I would highly recommend that you try some alternate chord forming methods, okay? Because you never know what chord you're going to be going to next in the chord progression, which is when you put chords together, okay? So the first thing you want to do is learn how to form the chords, then you want to learn how to put them together, which is called a chord progression, okay? So it's a good idea to try to learn how to form chords differently, just so that depending on the chord you're going to next, it might be easier to go to that chord next in its particular chord formation, okay? But in this particular example, we're just going to use the common way of forming this chord. Is we're going to start with our second finger, okay? We're going to take our second finger and put it right here on our fourth string, second fret. We're going to take our ring finger, our third finger, and put it on the third string, second fret, right underneath it, okay? And then we're going to take our first finger and put that on the second string, first fret, as you can see right there, and then our pinky is off, okay? Alright. Now the thing with these types of chords, like I mentioned it before in my lessons, and you'll see this in other lessons as well, is that you got to play on the tips of your fingers, okay? And this is the thing that can be really hard in the very beginning when you're trying to learn chords, especially with these types of chords, is being able to play on the tips of your fingers, okay? Because you're going to have to develop these muscles. And a lot of times what happens is you start getting this kind of stuff, and then see, doesn't sound right because the fingers start leaning towards the other strings. So you really got to pick your fingers up and play on the tips of them. And this is not easy in the very beginning. I know I had a struggle when I was doing it in the very beginning. It was really, really hard. Now that I've been doing it for a long time, I got it. But, you know, so I understand if it's difficult for you. So it's good to have your nails cut short so that you can press on the strings and press them down on the fretboard. And then use the back of your hand. That's why your guitar neck is shaped the way it is, so that you can grab that neck when you're pressing down on those strings, okay? That right there is your A minor chord. So your second finger is going to be on your fourth string, second fret. Your third finger, your ring finger, is going to be on your third string, second fret. And your first finger is going to be on your second string, first fret. Okay, and your pinky will be off. Now if you can learn to play on the tips of your fingers, then you can get a nice clean sound. And you can always tell if you want to check by just playing the strings individually like this. That's a really good way of also practicing your picking hand as well. So you could also, usually you strum from the fifth string down because this is your A string, this one here. So you strum down. So that's your A minor chord. Now if you take your first finger off, that becomes your Asus2 chord, okay? So you actually can now play two chords, your A minor and your Asus2. And if you can take your pinky and put it down on the second string, second fret, where all your fingers are on here, which of course the pinky is hard, so if you can't do it, it's understandable, but this is something to try, okay? Then you can play an A major chord, which is all the notes on the second fret on the fourth, third, and second string. So in reality, when you think about it, you could actually learn, you could play three chords, your A major, your Asus2, and your A minor, okay? A major, if you can use your pinky, which is tough to get down, but I would highly recommend you practice. Get your pinky involved, okay? Because it's going to make a big difference later down the line when you're trying to form other chords, okay? So you got A major, take your pinky off, you got Asus2, put your first finger down on the second string, you have A minor, okay? Then what you can do also is while you're holding these chords, work on your picking technique. Okay? Work on your strumming. The main thing you want to do is work on forming that chord, okay? And if your hand gets a little cramped, you know, just go ahead and take it off, shake it off a little bit. Let that blood start flowing through your fingers again in your hand. And while you're doing that with this hand, take this hand and work on your strumming. Work on your strumming like this. Work on picking the strings individually. Always want to make sure you're in tune. That's very, very important, okay? So if you need to, I would recommend getting you one of these clip-on tuners. These are great. These great clip-on tuners are great for keeping your guitar in tune. Sometimes when you buy like an acoustic electric, it'll have a tuner built into it. And that works as well too. So if you need a place to find that or something, you need one of those tuners, I'll leave a link below in the description box, okay? The main thing is it takes time. Remember, it takes time to learn this stuff. It doesn't happen overnight, okay? No matter what anybody tells you, it doesn't happen overnight. I've seen courses online that say, you know, learn how to play guitar in 20 days. Well, you know, it's probably going to take you at least 20 days just to develop your muscles, okay? Unless you're practicing 5 hours a day, which even then you're still not going to be able to do that because it takes time to develop your muscles. Once your muscles are developed, then you start to progress. But in the very beginning, you're going to be developing muscles, and it's going to take some time to do that. So don't be impatient with your progress, okay? I see this happen to a lot of people, a lot of beginners that come to me wanting to learn how to play guitar, especially if they're older, like adults. And it seems easy when you see somebody do this kind of stuff, you know. It seems easy when you're seeing them do it, but in reality, it's taken them hours upon hours, sometimes years, to be able to do that, okay? So, don't get discouraged if it takes you a little bit longer than you anticipate. That's okay. Everybody develops a little bit, you know, at different rates, okay? You might be I was a very slow developer myself, okay? It took me a long time to get this stuff. But now that I got it, I can teach it to you and give you some insider tips that'll keep you from having to struggle the way that I did, okay? So, once again, play on the tips of your fingers. Really focus on keeping your thumb in the back so that you can squeeze the strings, squeeze on the fretboard. Remember, it's going to take some time building your muscles, so be patient. And when you're holding the chord, work on your strumming, okay? Work on strumming down, strumming up, strumming down, strumming up. Work on picking the strings individually. If you're getting some of this kind of stuff going on, figure out what string is being touched with one of your fingers and see if you can roll it up. Get on the tip of you want to get on the tips of your fingers. It's very, very important, okay? So, we're going to conclude the lesson there. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you have anything to add to this, go ahead and leave those in the comments below as well. Be sure to check out my website at dwaynesguitarlessons.com. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell for future notifications, and work on these chords. Work on your A minor, your A major, your ASUS2, okay? And even if you can't do the A major right now with the pinky, don't worry about that. Just work on your A minor and get this finger off. That's your ASUS2. Those two chords right there alone is good for just this lesson right here, okay? So be sure to check that out. If you need additional learning, check in the box below because I have some good training programs there for you, some stuff on practice routine. One of the things that you really got to master is your practice, okay? That's going to make all the difference. So if you have any problems with establishing a practice routine, check out the link below. I have a link down there for helping you with your practice routine, developing a good practice routine to keep you moving forward, okay? And I also have a book on how to beginners learning guitar. I'll leave that in the description box below as well, okay? So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Be sure to practice every day. That's very, very important. If you have any questions, you let me know. So until our next lesson, take care. Audio Jungle.